The following program is presented by Bill Apter's OneWrestling.com. Visit OneWrestling.com for all your news and information on the world of professional wrestling. And now it's time for the Impact Wrestling Report. Here's your host, Mathew Shaffer.
This is the Impact Wrestling Report. You can follow us on Twitter at AfterOneWrestling and at OneWrestling.com, as well as at OneWrestling on Twitter. My name is Mathew Shaffer. You can follow me on Twitter at Mathew_Shaffer and on Instagram at Mathew_Shaffer. Let's begin with Impact's Under Pressure. About as much copyright music as I can allow for you today. 5/31/2018 Impact's Under Pressure, and we got a kickoff right away with Sanjay Dutt and Petey Williams addressing the Impact roster, saying they are after the mysterious Red X attacker. The match then began with Scott Steiner versus Eli Drake. The former tag team champions had a falling out after Eli Drake refused Scott Steiner's help after his successful win in Feast or Fired. After he refused Steiner's help in assisting them in winning the championship match, the two ended up having a fallout after losing the PNA, or now Impact Wrestling, Tag Team Championships. Tonight's matchup started with Eli Drake and Scott Steiner coming out fast and hot, and this match was a quick one. Drake and Steiner went back and forth for a bit, with Steiner attempting the first pinfall. Drake was able to kick out. Drake and Steiner did move to the outside where they were able to brawl, and Scott Steiner was able to gain the upper hand. Drake then attempted to hit Scott Steiner with a chair, but the referee was able to interfere and stop him. Having interfered, Scott Steiner was able to then throw Drake in the ring. Drake reversed by catching Scott Steiner with a boot to the face. He then climbed the turnbuckle and attempted an axe handle off the second rope. However, Scott Steiner was able to catch him, reverse him into a belly-to-belly suplex, followed by his second pinfall attempt, where Drake kicked out once again. Steiner and Drake then went back and forth some more. Steiner tried to get Drake into a Steiner recliner, and Drake was able to reverse him and drop him on his Achilles. After dropping him on his Achilles very hard, Steiner knocked Drake to the outside. Then, by the referee preventing Scott Steiner from attempting to seek out Eli Drake on the outside, Eli Drake grabbed a chair and was able to hit Scott Steiner in the face when the ref was not looking. Drake got back into the ring and was able to pin Scott Steiner, the big Papa Pump. 1, 2, 3. Your winner, Eli Drake. Dummy, yeah. The next match was Tessa Blanchard versus Madison Rayne in a grudge match. Tessa and Rayne went back and forth, with Rayne attempting 2 pin attempts. However, Tessa Blanchard was able to kick out and take charge of the bout with some aggressive slams and punches. She herself attempted twice to pin Madison Rayne, and Madison Rayne kicked out. She then continued to maul Rayne until Madison Rayne fired back. Unfortunately, it was short-lived. Tessa's onslaught continued. She tried to pin Madison Rayne 2 more times, however, Madison Rayne kicked out each time. Tessa then continued to dominate the match, however, Rayne was able to build some momentum. She built some offense and was able to get in 2 more pin attempts herself. Each time, though, Tessa Blanchard was able to kick out. The conclusion of the match came when Madison Rayne was able to get a quick roll-up for a quick 3 count and get what was called a fluke or an upset over Tessa Blanchard. Madison Rayne was your winner, and at this time, it does appear this feud will continue on. We then got a LAX promo with them talking about how they will get back at the Cult of Belief for last week's beatdown and interference into their clubhouse. And had some promos about Brian Cage and Desmond Xavier as that match kicked off. Now, coming into the match, Desmond Xavier knew he had to move fast and act quick if he was going to stand up to the powerful Brian Cage, and he came out fast by knocking out Brian Cage to the outside and launching a big missile dropkick. Desmond then continued to strike Cage. Unfortunately, Cage was able to strike back with his power with a vicious slam on the apron. After rolling him back up into the ring, he then threw him around like a rag doll with a couple of reel throws and some high back body drops. Desmond then tried to fight back, but Cage continued to dominate and reverse Xavier's moves. Desmond was able to pick up offense with his strikes and drop kicks. He was able to kick Cage to the outside and hit him with a space fly tiger drop. However, the conclusion of the match came with the undefeated Brian Cage's drill claw for the pin count 1, 2, 3. Brian Cage still undefeated. Brian Cage, your winner. We then go to backstage where Austin Aries runs down Pentagon Jr. saying that he's not the face of the company, that he's been traveling the United States for the last 6 months, bridging the gap in the industry and collecting championship belts. And at the end of the night, Pentagon Jr. will not be holding the championship once more. Then get a highlight video package for Ali Young and Sooyoung's feud, as well as Ali's turn to the dark side. The match then began with the Undead Bridesmaids carrying down the coffin for Ali vs. Sooyoung in the last rites match, aka coffin match, for the Impact Knockouts Championship. And Ali was dressed in all black, and she was looking scary to get into the head of Sooyoung. Was it enough? Ali was able to start out fast and furious by attacking Sooyoung early on. She took a quick advantage by suplexing her into the corner, then attempted to put Sooyoung in a coffin, but Sooyoung reversed and attempted to put Ali in the coffin herself. This was a big portion of the match, both of them going back and forth, each attempting to put one another inside the coffin. Ali was able to push Sooyoung away after the attempt. Sooyoung then took control of the match with some vicious submission holds, including a well-executed body scissors. Ali was able to fight back momentarily, but Sooyoung fought back as well and was able to knock Ali back into the coffin. However, Ali fought back and took Sooyoung to the floor as we went to our first commercial break during the match. After we came back from break, Ali and Sooyoung fought along some more as Ali took control of the match. However, Sooyoung then came back, fought back hard with Ali. Ali did attempt one more time to put Sooyoung in the coffin. However, Sooyoung was able to reverse, put the mandible claw on Ali, put Ali in the coffin as she was knocked out, and closed the coffin itself, becoming the brand new Impact Women's Knockout Champion. After the match itself, we then saw Dante's Inferno type scene as Don Callis described, with the Undead Bridesmaids looking up at the new champion, Sooyoung. Impact Wrestling then did give us a break as they went to the vault with another last rites match between Sting and Abyss. In case you're wondering, Sting won. Why Impact Wrestling continues to fill television time with matches aired from 5 to 10 years ago, I don't know. However, I'm not the one running Impact Wrestling. We then went to a video package of Pentagon Jr. speaking in Spanish with subtitles talking about how he is going to defeat Austin Aries tonight. Came back from one of the second to last commercial breaks, and we saw a video package hyping Eddie Edwards and Sami Callihan. At the conclusion of it, Eddie Edwards is backstage with his wife. Eddie Edwards tells his wife that moving forward, he's going to have a match in the woods, no rules, no ring, no ropes, with Eddie Edwards. Or as I like to call it now, the fight in the forest. We then came to the conclusion, the main event and the longest match of the night, Austin Aries versus Pentagon Jr. for the Impact World Champion. Impact World Champion Pentagon Jr. was set to face and put his title on the line against current Impact Grand Champion Austin Aries. Austin Aries came out fast as he attacked Pentagon Jr. before the match even began. Now, Pentagon and Austin Aries went back before eventually getting in the ring, and the match finally went underway. Aries was able to continue his attack on Pentagon Jr. early on. However, Pentagon Jr. was able to pick up a near fall after a vicious super kick. Aries then rolled to the outside. He was able to move back into the ring, and he was able to hit Pentagon Jr. with a missile dropkick. Aries continued to control the match. However, Pentagon Jr. tried to kick out of each pin attempt. We then went to our first commercial break. After commercial, we came back, and Aries now had control of the match. Pentagon Jr. then fought back, and Aries fell to the outside, and he was landed on the floor. After a couple of sling blade attempts on Pentagon Jr., he rolled Aries back out of the ring and was unsuccessful in another pinfall attempt. Pentagon Jr. then tried to hit the Pentagon package or the Pentagon pile driver, but Aries was able to reverse and then attempted his own top rope move. However, Pentagon Jr. reversed that and was able to put Austin Aries down. Later on in the match, Austin Aries was able to cinch in the last chancery. However, Pentagon Jr. was close to the bottom rope. Pentagon Jr. then followed up with his own Pentagon pile driver. However, once again, Austin Aries himself now was near the rope and was able to stop the pinfall. And this is where we get to the conclusion of the match. Okay, so it starts with Austin Aries and Pentagon Jr. on the outside, and the ref is counting. Austin Aries cinches in the last chancery, and he is unable to then get back into the ring by the count of 10. So Austin Aries and Pentagon Jr. both get a double countout. Austin Aries then gets back into the ring. He complains that the match shouldn't end like that. Pentagon Jr. agrees, and the match restarts. When the match quickly restarts, Pentagon Jr. goes for a quick roll-up. Aries kicks out. They both fight some more. They fight to the ring apron. Pentagon Jr. hits the Fear Factor. They both land outside. Another 10 count happens, and another double count out is then put into place. Pentagon Jr. now gets back in the ring, speaking in Spanish, says that he deserved for the match to be restarted. They restart the match. This time, Austin Aries was able to avoid an offensive attack by Pentagon Jr., set him up for the Brainbuster, and pin Pentagon Jr., becoming the new Impact World Champion. Austin Aries, 1, 2, 3, is your new heavyweight champion. And ladies and gentlemen, that was this week's Impact Wrestling, or is this week's Impact Under Pressure. So, coming out of tonight's Impact, we've got a brand new world champion. We've got a brand new women's champion. Madison Rayne was able to pick up the victory over Tessa Blanchard. And LAX cemented that they are coming after Colt of Lee next week. Also, Eddie Edwards is set to take on Sam Callahan in a fight in the forest. All this and more on next week's edition of Impact Wrestling. We want to thank you for joining this week's edition of the Impact Wrestling Report. Again, I'm Mathew Shaffer. You can follow me on Twitter at Mathew Shaffer and on Instagram at Mathew Shaffer, as well as you can check out my weekly news show on the Hameen Media Group, the Hameen Media Newsroom, and follow me on the Twitter account at Hameen Media Group as I moderate that account for them as well. I'm Mathew Shaffer. Thanks for dropping by, and as Bill Apter would say, we'll see you at the matches.